Here we go. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. All right.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done here on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not in temptation, deliver us from the wicked one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us for our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not to temptation, deliver us from the wicked one. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Thine is, oh yeah, the kingdom and the power and the glory, oh yeah, forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth, on earth.
Hallelujah. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in Shamayim. All praises, honor, and great esteem unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah Bahashem, Yahushua HaMashiach, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say Shalom Wabaruki. That is peace and blessings. And I cannot wait to the day that the Most High brings us back together, and we are once again 12 tribes, one family, one nation under the Most High Power, under one covenant, and back in our own land with a heart of flesh and no more a heart of stone. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yes, indeed. You're alive and direct with your Akazaki Yahoo, and I am joined again by my most esteemed Ak Kenaniah. Shabbat Shalom, my king.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom, my key. Shabbat Shalom, Yasharal. Shalom, Wa Barakim, Bahashem Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shah Hamashiach. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Bless the Joaquin. Is that brothers? The
Why? So that's and so it's shalom, shalom, peace, and blessings. Barakim. Yeah.
bad. I misinterpreted it. My feelings lately. My bad. Okay, so peace and blessings to the family. To the you said Miss McKay. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. Come.
Peace and blessings to the family on this Sabbath Yom. I might have missed that. My bad. Slacky, forgive me. But yes, indeed, it is another Sabbath Yom, and man, we glad to be back in the place. I want to say in the house of the Most High, but this is the house of the Most High because He gives us the ability to do what we're doing, have this platform, to have this residence, and to get into this word. So all praises to the Abba. He is always worthy in every situation, in every circumstance, and He is our power. He is our power. Hallelujah. So we're jumping back once again in the book of Bereshit, of the beginning. And we are at chapter number 15. Most High willing, we're going to read these 7 chapters real quick and easy. And we're going to run through it as nice and smooth as possible. Most High willing. We pick up here at the beginning of chapter 15. We see Abram's promise a son. So we see we're dealing with Father Abram. This is before his name is changed. And we're going to see how things operate from here. Again, this is the book of Bereshit, chapter number 15. And we'll start at verse number 1. After these things, the word of Yahuwah came up to Abram in a vision, saying, "Fear not, Abram, I am your shield and your exceeding great reward." Hallelujah. I will take that reward 10 times out of 10. Hallelujah.
You know that.
Yeah, indeed, I keep. Verse 2. And Abram said, "Yahuwah power, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house, this Eleazar of Damascus?" And the steward of my house is Eleazar of Damascus. So this his servant is the one that he was going to have to leave everything to. He didn't have anybody. He didn't have any heir. Verse 3. And Abram said, "Behold, to me you have given no seed, and lo, one born in my house is my heir." So I got to give it to him. Somebody got to get it. Verse 4. And behold, the word of Yahuwah came unto him, saying, "This shall not be your heir, but he that shall come forth out of your own bowels shall be your heir." And he brought him forth abroad and said, "Look towards Shamaim and tell the stars, if you be able to number them." And he said unto him, "So shall your seed be." And he believed in Yahuwah, and it was counted unto him for righteousness. And he said unto him, "I am Yahuwah that brought you forth out of Ur and the Chaldees to give you this land to inherit it." And he said, Adonai Yahuwah, wherefore shall I know that I shall inherit it? Like, how you gonna prove this to me? What you gonna give me to let me know that this is mine? I hear what you're saying, and I believe you, but show me something. Verse 9. And he said unto him, "Take me a heifer and 3 years old, and a she-goat at 3 years old, and a ram of 3 years old, and a turtle dove and a young pigeon." It's like this thing. All right. Verse 10. And he took unto him all these and divided them in the midst, and laid each piece one against the other. But the birds divided he not. And when the fowl had came down to the carcass, Abram drove them away. And when the sun was gone down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, "Knowest of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land which is not theirs, and they shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. and also that nation whom they shall serve, I will judge. And afterward, they shall come out with great substance. You shall go, and you shall go to your fathers in peace, and you shall be buried in a good old age. In the fourth generation, they shall come here again, and for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down, that it was dark. Behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp passed between those pieces. And that same day, Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto your seed will I give this land, from the rivers of Mizraim unto the great river of Euphrates. Canaanite and the Kenizzite and the Kedemarites and the Hivites and the Perizzites and the Remathites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Gershites and the Jebusites. So that's where they dwelled until the children of Israel showed up. And that's why the book of Judges, that first chapter, that's my joint right there. I want to put that to music. All praises. So let's continue. Chapter number 16, Sarah and Hagar. This is the book of Bereshit, chapter number 16 and verse number 1. Now Sarah, Abram's wife, bare him no children, and she had a handmaid, a Mizraite, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai said unto Abram, behold, Yahuwah have restrained me from bearing. I pray you, go in unto my maid, and it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abram hearkened unto the voice of Sarai. Abram and Sarai, Abram's wife, took Hagar, her maid, the Mizraite, after Abram had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abram to be his wife. And he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw she had conceived, her mistress was despised in her eyes. And Sarai said unto Abram, my wrong be upon you. I have given my handmaid into your bosom. And when she saw she had conceived, I was despised in her eyes. Yahuwah hath judged between me and you. But Abram said unto Sarai, behold, your maid is in your hand. Do unto her as it please you. And when Sarai dealt hardly with her, she fled from her face. And the Malach of Yahuwah found her by the fountain of the waters in the wilderness, by the fountain in the way of Shur. He said, Hagar, Sarai's maid, where cometh you? And where are you going? And she said, I fled from the face of my mistress, Sarai. And the Malach of Yahuwah said unto her, return unto your mistress, and submit yourself unto her hand. The Malach of Yahuwah said unto her, I will multiply your seed exceedingly, and it shall not be numbered for multitude. And the Malach of Yahuwah said unto her, behold, you are with child, and shall bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahuwah hath heard your affliction, and he shall be a wild man, and his hand shall be against every man, and every man's hand against him, and he shall dwell in the presence of all of his brethren. And she came, and she called on the name of Yahuwah, and spake unto her, that the Most High seeth me. For she said, have I also here looked after him that seeth me? Wherefore, the well was called Beer-lahai Lahor. Behold, it is between Kadesh and Bered. And Hagar bare Abram a son, and Abram called his son's name, which Hagar bare Ishmael. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare him Ishmael. Did I say that right? And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bare Ishmael to him.
To Abram.
Kind. Okay. I thought Might have said it incorrect. Praises to the Father. We chapter 17. Abram and the covenant of circumcision. This is the book of Bereshit, chapter 17 and verse 1. And when Abram was 99 years old, and when Abram was 90 years old and 9, I was reading that from memory, Yahuwah appeared unto Abram and said unto him, I am El Shaddai, walk before me and be you perfect. And when I will make a covenant between me and you and will multiply you exceedingly. And Abram fell on his face, and the Most High talked with him, saying, as for me, behold, my covenant is with you, and you shall be a father of many nations. Neither shall your name be any more called Abram, but your name shall be Abraham. For a father of many nations have I made you, and I will make you exceedingly fruitful, and I will make nations of you, and kings shall come out of you. And I will establish my covenant between me and you and your seed after you in their generation for an everlasting covenant to be a power unto you and to your seed after you. That's our promise right there. Our praises to the Abba.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Verse 8. And I will give unto you and to your seed after you the land wherein you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, for an everlasting possession, and I will be their power. And the Most High said unto Abram, you shall keep my covenant, therefore you and your seed after you in their generations. This is the covenant which you shall keep between me and you and your seed after you. Every man child among you shall be circumcised, and you shall circumcise the flesh of your foreskin, and it shall be for a token of the covenant between me and you. And he that is 8 days old shall be circumcised among you, every man child in your generation. He that is born in the house or bought with money of any stranger shall not, which is not of your seed. So anybody that even come to this house, that even operate in this house, if you want to work in this house, you got to be circumcised. All of them. Verse 13. Yeah, put that in the contract. I'm going to pay you X and you got to be circumcised. Verse 13. Mm-hmm. He that is born of your house and he that is bought with money must need be circumcised, and my covenant shall be in your flesh for an everlasting covenant. And the uncircumcised man whose flesh of his foreskin is not circumcised, that soul shall be cut off from his people, for he have broken my covenant. There's brothers out here teaching that you don't have to be circumcised, that you don't have. I wouldn't play with that. I wouldn't take the Abba's words, and I don't even understand that. Because just reading that, hey, if my folks hadn't done that when I was a kid, I'd have to. Ain't no way I could read that and believe his word and not go get that done. I'd have to do that immediately. Continuing, verse 15. And the Most High said unto Abram, as for Sarah, your wife, you shall not call her name Sarai, but Sarah shall her name be. And I will bless her and give her a son also of her. Yea, I will bless her, and she shall be the mother of nations. Kings of people shall be of her. And Abram fell upon his face and laughed, and said in his heart, shall a child be born unto him that is 100 years old? And said, Sarah, that is 90 years old, bear? Like, man, we gonna have children at this age? I mean, we not even really like that. We don't even be busy like that. But
Right.
I guess it's about to change. Verse 18. And Abram said unto the Most High, "Oh, that Ishmael may live before you." And the Most High said, "Sarah, your wife, shall bear you a son indeed, and you shall call his name Isaac. And I will establish my covenant with him for an everlasting covenant, and with his seed after him." Slakia. What's my place? What was that? What verse was that? Oh, here it is.
So we're ready for verse 20.
20. As for Ishmael, I have heard you. Behold, I will bless him and make him fruitful, and will multiply him exceedingly. 12 princes shall he begot, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant, which I establish, but my covenant will I establish with Isaac, which Sarah shall bear unto you at the set time in the next year. And he left of talking with him, and the Most High went up from Abraham. And Abraham took Ishmael his son, and all that was born in his house, and all that was bought with money, every male among the men of Abraham's house, and circumcised the flesh of their foreskin in that self same day, as the Most High had said unto him. And Abram was 99 when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. A 99-year-old man getting circumcised. Oh my gracious. I wonder how much anesthesia he had.
God.
25. How praises.
I don't think we read about him even having any strong drink that night.
God, I think he just did it because that power of the Most High came down and was talking to him, and he just was like, man, I got to do this thing. I can't not do it. Got to make it happen. Verse 25. And Ishmael, his son, was 13 years old when he was circumcised in the flesh of his foreskin. And the self same day, Abram circumcised Ishmael, his son, and all the men of his house, born in his house, and bought with money of the stranger, was circumcised with him. All right, guys, line up. Listen up.
Mm-hmm.
We got a policy change in place here. Now, y'all know I take care of you. I just imagine that announcement. I can just, you show up, you get to work that day, you've been herding sheep outside and, taking care of things. All of a sudden, the boss calls you in and you come in and you're standing there like, oh, we ready for a break? Like, listen up. This is what we're about to do. And you hear that, you're like, huh? What?
Oh, wait a minute, man. You throwing me off with this one. You throwing me off.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that had to be they had to take you back. Like, what? Well, he paid a bill, so if that's what it is, that's what it is. So,
yeah, I mean, we don't read about anybody complaining or anybody leaving that day.
No, nobody walked off like, I ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, they had to with him. I guess I could give up that foreskin. I ain't use it for nothing anyway. All right. Let's continue here. This is the book of Bereshit, chapter number 18 and verse number 1. The birth of Isaac promise. Verse 1. And Yahuwah appeared unto him in the plains of Merib, and he sat at the tent door in the heat of the day, and he lifted up his eyes and looked, and lo, 3 men stood by him. And when he saw them, he ran to meet them at the tent door and bowed himself towards the ground and said, Adonai, if now I have found favor in your sight, pass not away, I pray you, from your servant. Let a little water, I pray you, be fetched, and wash your feet, and rest yourselves under the tree. And I will fetch a morsel of bread and comfort your hearts. After that, you shall pass on, for therefore you have come to your servant, and they said, so do as you have said. Yeah, let's we cool with that. We can do that. Verse 6. And Abram hastened unto the tent unto Sarai and said, make ready quickly 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes upon the hearth. I'm thinking that's hearth. Verse 7. And Abraham ran into the herd and fetched a calf tender and good, and gave it to the young men, and hasted to dress it. Get this ready. We're about to eat. We're about to cook this and eat it.
Mhm.
Hurry up. Do it quickly. Do it quickly. Very quickly. Verse 8. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. Salakia. I just saw this. Verse 8. Let me read this slowly here. And he took butter and milk and the calf which he had dressed, and set it before them. And he stood by them under the tree, and they did eat. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's some people in the earth that say you're not supposed to eat milk and meat. Why would they say that? Because we see right here in the book that the representative of the Most High came down, and when he
And that's what they had.
that's exactly what they had. Huh? I just look. We read this last time. It didn't even dawn on me. But we read this right here in Bereshit 18:8. So obviously that's not a thing. That's a man-made thing.
Good pull, good pull, because I hadn't seen that, before you said that either.
Praise to the Abba. Hallelujah. All right, let's continue.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Yes, indeed. Verse 9. And they said unto him, where is Sarah, your wife? And he said, behold, in the tent. And he said, I will certainly return unto you according to the time of life. And lo, Sarah, your wife, shall have a son. And Sarah heard it at the tent door, which was behind him. Now Abram and Sarah were old and well stricken in age, and it ceased to be with Sarah after the manner of women. So it ceased to be with her after the manner of women. So the manner of women is, they had that monthly menstrual. And once you get to a certain age, you get that, what they call today, menopause. They don't have that anymore. So she wasn't even dealing with that. So how's she going to get pregnant in her mind? How am I going to get pregnant when I ain't even, producing like that? So verse 12. Therefore, Sarah laughed within herself, saying, after I have waxed old, shall I have pleasure? My Adonai also being old, being old also. Like I'm gonna have pleasure, like we're gonna be big old. Verse 13. And Yahuwah said unto Abram, wherefore did Sarah laugh, saying, shall I surely bear a child when I am old? Is there anything too hard for Yahuwah? After the appointed time, I will return unto you according to the time of life, and Sarah shall have a son. I'm going to do what I said I'm going to do. Hallelujah. Then Sarah denied, saying, I laughed not, for she was afraid. And he said, La'ah, but you did laugh. Yeah, you laughed. But it's all good. I know you was a little shook. She didn't even laugh out loud. She laughed to herself. Like, what she laughed for? Verse 16. And the men rose up from there and looked toward Sodom, and Abram went with them to bring them on the way. Verse 17. And Yahuwah said, shall I hide this? Shall I hide from Abram this thing which I do? Seeing that Abram shall become a great and mighty nation, and all the nations of Eretz shall be Barak in him. For I know him, that he will command his children and his household after him, that they shall keep the way of Yahuwah and do justice and judgment that Yahuwah will bring upon Abraham, which he had spoken to him. And Yahuwah said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and because their sin is very grievous, I will go down now to see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come up unto me, and if not, I will know. And the men turned their faces and went toward And the men turned their faces from there and went toward Sodom. But Abram stood before Yahuwah. And Abram drew near and said, will you destroy the righteous with the wicked? Peradventure, there'll be 50 righteous within the city. Would you also destroy and not spare the place for the 50 righteous and there that are within? That be far from you to do after this manner, to slay the righteous with the wicked, and that the righteous should be as the wicked. That be far from you. Shall not the judge of all the earth do right? And Yahuwah said, if I find in Sodom 50 righteous within the city, then will I spare it for their sake. Abram answered and said, behold, I have taken it upon me to speak unto the Adonai, which I am but dust and ashes. Peradventure, there lack 5 of the 50 righteous. Would you destroy all the city for a lack of 5? And he said, if I find 40 and 5, I will not destroy it. And he spake unto him again and said, peradventure, you shall find 40. There shall be 40 found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 40's sake. And he said unto him, Oh, let not the Adonai be angry, but I will speak. Peradventure, you shall find 30. Peradventure, there shall 30 be found there. And he said, I will not do it if I find 30 there. And he said, behold, I have taken it upon me to speak unto the Adonai. Peradventure, there shall be found 20 there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 20's sake. And he said, Oh, let not the Adonai be angry, and I will speak yet but once. Peradventure, 10 shall be found there. And he said, I will not destroy it for 10's sake. And Yahuwah went his way as soon as he had left communion with Abraham. And Abraham returned unto his place. Whew. Praise to the Father. How many is that?
That was your 4.
Okay, God. You got it. Our praise. Hallelujah.
God. All right, this is the book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter 19, the doom of Sodom, verse 1. And there came 2 Malaks to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom, and Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. So it was something about these 2 messengers of the Most High that Lot was able to tell that it was something different about them. I need to greet these men. All right. Verse 2. And he said, behold now, my Adonais, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, nay, but we will abide in the street all night. And he pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him. And he entered and entered into his house, and he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. So I've always pictured this in my head, this being very early in the morning, these wee hours, like 3, sometime after midnight is what I always picture in my head. And the undesirable people of society, we would call them, like the pimps, the prostitutes, these type of individuals are around about, and they've surrounded this house. Right. That's the mental image that I have in my head. Yep. So let's continue. Verse 5. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into you this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them. So this getting to know them is a sexual deviance. This is an abomination to the Most High, is what these men are talking about here. Getting to know these men, right? In love with strange flesh, right?
Sickening.
Verse. Oh, you had something?
I was saying sickening.
Yeah, con. Yeah. Verse 6. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him, and said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly. Behold, now I have 2 daughters which have not known man. Let me, I pray you, bring them out unto you, and do you to them as is good in your eyes. Only unto these men do nothing, for therefore came they under the shadow of my roof. So, Lot is so not willing to see this wickedness go down that he offers his 2 virgin daughters to these men, to these wicked men of the city. Here's the thing. It was definitely an act of righteousness, I would say, on his behalf. I think I would probably rather just go out there with the sword rather than what I mean?
I was just thinking that in modern time, in this day and time, if this thing happened, I'd have went out there with the shotgun, like, hey, I got 25 rounds in this mag, and I got 2 more mags. So you want to try me? You better get out from around the house. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Y'all better get on from around here, man. Go home. Go home.
Get on if you want to talk about it tomorrow, because if not, you're gonna be on the ground.
Right. So, yeah, that's my mind thinking of it as well. But let me continue. But that's just I guess how we differ. I wouldn't have offered my daughters.
Definitely.
Verse 8. Behold, now I have 2 daughters, Slakia, verse 9.
Yeah.
And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came in to sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with you than with them? And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them, and shut to the door. And they smote the men that were at the door of the house with blindness, both small and great, so that they wearied themselves to find the door. So some type of way, some type of weapon, some type of divine act has occurred to where these men who were at the door talking about, let's know these men, let these men out so we might know them. Now they're blinded somehow, right?
Yeah.
This is
I think about it like this. This being the darker night, Like it's pitch dark. They probably got torches. Is how they able to see. You know, so I imagine them, you know, him stepping out to talk to them. It's still very dark. You know what I'm saying? And after they come knocking on the door, it's still very dark outside. And they hear them out there talking. They're like, these cats is crazy out here. So after they threatened Lot, like, look, we'll do with you, but worse than we were with them. And who made you a judge? And they reached out to grab him and pull him in the house. But before they did that, they probably flashed some kind of a light. I would venture to say if they sparked with blindness. It's the pitch of night. They probably just hit him with something bright. Now, that's not in the text. That's just my observation. And I don't want anybody who hear this to think that Akazaki Yahoo got some kind of insight. I really don't. That's just the what will make sense to me in this and how I picture it going in my mind. So, yeah.
Come. All right, continuing. Verse 12. And the men said unto Lot, hath you here any besides son-in-law, and thy sons, and thy daughters, and whatsoever thou hast in the city, bring them out of this place, for we will destroy this place, because the cry of them is waxing great before the face of Yahweh, and Yahweh hath sent us to destroy it. And Lot went out and spake unto his son-in-law, which married his daughters, and said, up, get you out of this place, for Yahweh will destroy the city. But he seemed as one that mocked unto his sons-in-law. So, you know, first thing first, you know, we got to deal with, you know, these are called son-in-laws to Lot. Yeah. And we remember before Lot said he had 2 daughters that were virgins. Right. So, you know, I just want to highlight that, you know, these women were, and sex didn't make a marriage.
No, sex did not make them a marriage because they went through a ceremony, but they didn't go into the marriage chamber. And best I can tell it is this place was so gay that these cats went along with a ceremony and didn't never touch these women, which doesn't make any sense. But apparently that's what we're reading. I mean, obviously if they his son-in-law, the ceremony must have happened. But where's the marriage? There's no marriage. So there's no marriage. I mean, obviously it's got to be. I don't know what you call that.
Right. All right. So let's continue. Verse 15. And when the morning arose, the Maliks hastened Lot, saying, arise, take your wife and your 2 daughters, which are here, lest you be consumed in the iniquity of the city. And while he lingered, the men laid hold upon his hand, and upon the hand of his wife, and upon the hand of his 2 daughters. And Yahweh being merciful unto him, and they brought him forth, and set him without the city. And it came to pass, when they brought them forth abroad, that he said, escape for your life, look not behind you, neither stay you in all the plain, escape to the mountain, lest you be consumed. So, you know, this whole article right here, or these few scripts right here, are letting me know that the Most High has weapons of that we can't even fathom. You know, I think Hollywood has tried to recreate different things based off, you know, what was written or what was written before our time. And they get it from the scripts, you know. So let's continue. And then also even the way that they got him up out of the city, like they laid hold on him, and it's like next thing you know, like he's up out of the city. That's some type of advanced technology, Yeah,
kind of. Indeed, 1000%.
Verse 18. And Lot said unto them, oh, not so, my Adonai, behold, now your servant hath found grace in your sight, and you have magnified your mercy, which thou hast showed unto me in saving my life. And I cannot escape to the mountain, lest some evil take me and I die. Behold, now this city is near to flee unto, and it is a little one. Oh, let me escape thither. Is it not a little one? And my soul shall live? Or it's like, and my soul shall live. And he said unto him, see, I have accepted you concerning this thing also, that I will not overthrow this city for the which thou hast spoken. Has you escaped thither? For I cannot do anything till you be come thither. Therefore, the name of the city was called Zoar. So, you know, here again, we are witnessing indirectly the Most High's power, you know, able to preserve life and also take life away, you know. And blessed be his name, you know, for it's, you know, the world belongs to him, you know, and it's his prerogative to do, you know, what he feels fit to, you know.
Okay, no doubt.
All right, continuing, verse 23. The sun was risen upon the earth, or the erects, when Lot entered into Zoar. Then Yahweh rained upon Sodom and upon Gomorrah brimstone and fire from Yahweh out of Shemaim, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. But his wife looked back from behind him, and she became a pillar of salt. So that's verse 26.
Right.
In verse 23, it says the sun was risen upon the erects when Lot entered into Zoar. So they were clear. They were clear from all of the destruction. But something with, you know, and it's like that in life sometimes. Sometimes we look back when we shouldn't, you know, when we've gone forward out of a situation, and, you know, looking back still keeps us in that same situation. So, you know, in order to break those ties, you know, we got to not look back. I think that's part of the lesson here as well. Being obedient and not wanting to continue looking back, you know, into the past is a lesson learned here.
You're right, Akeem. You know, I find myself in that situation, you know, many times, and thinking, you know, I'll get to this point or I'll get to that point, and then I'll be able to get back what I had before. Well, I'm looking backwards, and reality, I've got something so much better for me. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to worry about what is left behind. I need to be worried about what's ahead of me. And that's what you know what I'm saying, that's what his promise is. He promised me what's ahead. He didn't promise me what's behind. So
that's right.
Same thing with Abraham. So I praise to the Father. That's a great observation.
Hallelujah. All right, continuing. Verse 27. And Abraham got up early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahweh, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and he beheld, and lo, the smoke of the country went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when the Most High destroyed the cities of the plain, that the Most High remembered Abraham, and sent Lot out in the midst of the overthrow, when he overthrew the cities in the which Lot dwelt. Lot is debased. Verse 30. And Lot went up out of Zoar and dwelt in the mountain, and his 2 daughters with him. And he feared to dwell in Zoar, and he dwelt in a cave, and his 2 daughters. And the firstborn said unto the younger, our father is old, and there is not a man in the erects to come in unto us after the manner of all the erects. Come, let us make our father drink wine, and we will lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. So somehow, they are under the belief that they're the last people on earth. And, they're mindful to want to keep life going, but very, very misled.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, they thought that the whole earth was destroyed. They didn't know that it was just that city. They thought that everything was done. So there's not a man in the earth to come into us. We the last people on earth. We got to keep the people going. So yeah, it kind of makes sense from a logical standpoint, but it seemed like they should have consulted their father, who would have been the elder, about it, and he could have said, no, it was just the city. It's
right.
other people. And then it's ironic too, because the way it happened, they were supposed to go to the city. It would have been people in the city, but they didn't go to the city.
That's what it said Zor, but I'm not sure if they were saying that this was, because I don't know if it just earned its name, that city then, but you're right. Like, they did go to that city. So it seemed like it would have already been people there.
Yeah, well, he said he went up out of Zor. Well, yes, he did go there. He says he went up out of Zor in verse 30 we just read, and went to the mountains, his two daughters, because they feared to dwell in Zor. So they was afraid that the destruction was still coming. So even though they had gotten away, they were like, man, this place gonna go up in smoke too. So they went on ahead. So I kind of see where they're coming from in that aspect, that everything is being destroyed. So yeah.
All right, continuing. Verse 33. And they made their father drink wine that night, and the firstborn went in and lay with her father, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. And it came to pass on the morrow that the firstborn said unto the younger, behold, I lay yesterday night with my father. Let us make him drink wine this night also, and go you in and lie with him, that we may preserve seed of our father. And they made their father drink wine that night also. And the younger arose and lay with him, and he perceived not when she lay down, nor when she arose. Thus were both the daughters of Lot with child by their father. And the firstborn bare a son, and called his name Moab, and the same is the father of the Moabites unto this day. And the younger, she also bare a son, and called his name Ben-Ammi. The same is the father of the children of Ammon unto this day. It's ironic that in that video that we were covering earlier, we heard Quab talk about, Brandon was reading, but they spoke about the children of Ammon and the children of Moab never being allowed into the congregation of the Most High forever. So these were relatives of the Israelites, and we'll read more about them as we continue reading these scripts. But this is how those particular nations came to be.
Yes, indeed.
All right, continuing. This is the book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter 20, Abraham's treachery. And that's something that we're not used to hearing.
Right.
But let's continue. Verse 1. And Abraham journeyed from thence toward the south country, and dwelled between Kadesh and Shur, and so journeyed in Gerar. And Abraham said of Sarah his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah. But the Most High came to Abimelech in a dream by night, and said to him, behold, you art but a dead man for the woman which you have taken, for she is a man's wife.
Right.
But Abimelech had not come near her, and he said, Adonai, will you slay also a righteous nation? Said he, and not unto me, she is my sister. And she, even she herself said, he is my brother, in the integrity of my heart and in the innocency of my hands have I done this. So, you know, this man, man, honestly act like he's right. You know what I mean? Like he had no idea that what he was doing was something wrong, you know?
Yeah. Well, you know, again, what Father Abraham said in that first time that they did this, that these people don't deal with the Most High. They not. It's a lawless people. You know, they'll kill me and just take you. And you know who knows? I don't know. I think that who knows what would have happened if he wouldn't have went about it this particular way.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's continue. Verse 6. And the Most High said unto him in a dream, Yea, I know that you did this in the integrity of your heart, for I also withheld you from sinning against me. Therefore suffer I you not to touch her. Now therefore restore the man his wife, for he is a prophet, and he shall pray for you, and you shall live. And if you restore her not, know you that you shall surely die, you and all that are yours. Therefore Abimelech rose early in the morning and called all his servants and told all these things in their ears, and the men were sore afraid. You know, I can imagine the El Shaddai probably had a reputation. You know what I mean, in the land, and it's probably something that people knew wasn't no joke. You know, you got El Shaddai on you. It's not much you could do, you know.
Indeed. But one thing to point out, look at how deep he had to threaten him. He didn't just threaten him like, all right, I kept you from not doing it, but you know, go ahead and give him back his wife. He was like, if you don't give this man his wife back, I'm gonna kill you and everybody associated with you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like to that extent. So I don't think these were good people out. You know what I'm saying? Because I think if it would have been just a simple, okay, he could have kept it real with you, but you know, go ahead and give him his wife back, and I'll let bygones be bygones. He could have been cool like that, but he didn't even come out like that. He was like, look here, give him his wife back, or I'm gonna kill you and everybody with you. I'm killing all y'all. So the choice is yours. It's what you gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So I see why Abraham was like that, why he was concerned like that.
Yeah. Continuing, verse 9. Yeah. Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What hast thou done unto us? And what have I offended you, that you have brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin? You have done deeds unto me that ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest you that you have done this thing? And Abraham said, Because I thought, surely the fear of the Most High is not in this place, and they will slay me for my wife's sake. And yet indeed she is my sister. She is the daughter of my father, but not the daughter of my mother. And she became my wife. And it came to pass, when the Most High caused me to wander from my father's house, that I said unto her, This is your kindness which thou hast shown unto me. At every place whither we shall come, say of me, He is my brother. And Abimelech took sheep and oxen and men servants and women servants and gave them unto Abraham and restored him Sarah, his wife. And Abimelech said, Behold, my land is before you. Dwell where it pleaseth you. And unto Sarah he said, Behold, I have given your brother 1,000 pieces of silver. Behold, he is to you a covering of the eyes unto all that are with you, and with all other. Thus she was reproved. So Abraham prayed unto the Most High, and the Most High healed Abimelech and his wife and his maidservants and they bare children. For Yahweh had fast closed up all the wounds of the house of Abimelech because of Sarah, Abraham's wife.
He still
Wow.
wasn't playing with it. And
Right.
yeah, and then he got, or maybe this was the plan to get money from him, because he didn't extort him. I mean, he gave it to him willingly. He didn't say, "Give me this, or I'll stick my power on. I'm gonna put my power on against you." He was like, "Here, take this. Here, take this stuff too. Take this, and here's 1,000 pieces of silver. Whatever you want. We cool. We cool. We cool. We cool."
Come.
Yeah.
And and here's the thing, one has to ask themselves, would the Most High shed blood for his seed, for his chosen? And we know that he will, because we read about it in Shemot, and bringing out the children of Mizraim. He destroyed that nation. So it's something that it might have happened earlier if this man made a wrong decision. Would have been stuff that we had learned about plagues falling upon people beforehand.
Abimelech would have been the one right
Right.
Indeed.
All right, continuing. This is the book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter 26. Isaac is born, verse 1.
21, Aki. This is the final chapter.
Oh, yes, Slaki. Yep. This is the book of Bereshit, Genesis chapter 21. Isaac is born, verse 1. And Yahweh visited Sarah, and he said, as he had said, and Yahweh did unto Sarah as he had spoken. For Sarah conceived and bare Abraham a son in his old age, at the set time of which the Most High had spoken to him. And Abraham called the name of his son that was born unto him, whom Sarah bare to him, Isaac. And Abraham circumcised his son Isaac, being 8 days old, as the Most High had commanded him. And Abraham was 100 years old when his son Isaac was born unto him. And Sarah said, the Most High hath made me to laugh, so that all that hear will laugh with me. And she said, who would have said unto Abraham that Sarah should have given children suck? For I have borne him a son in his old age. And the child grew and was weaned. And Abraham made a great feast the same day that Isaac was weaned. Sarah turns against Hagar. Verse 9. And Sarah saw the son of Hagar, the Mizraite, which she had born unto Abraham, mocking. Wherefore she said unto Abraham, cast out this bondwoman and her son, for the son of this bondwoman shall not be heir with my son, even with Isaac. So again, this is kind of fresh, I guess, because that lesson that Quab was bringing out, we were just reading some of these scripts.
It's indeed.
Continue with verse 11. And the thing was very grievous in Abraham's sight because of his son. And the Most High said unto Abraham, let it not be grievous in your sight because of the lad and because of your bondwoman. In all that Sarah hath said unto you, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall your seed be called. And also of the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is your seed. So, it's understandable that, Isaac wasn't feeling good about Sarah wanting to get rid of, Ishmael, because, again, this is his son. So, he had some type of love for him, but, the Most High has, come to him again and told him, pretty much comforted him and, giving him hope and faith, that he's going to keep him as well. So
that's
I
gotta
continue.
be imagining that's your seed and your firstborn. And he's like, I got him, but let him go. He'll be all right.
You come.
Yeah.
Indeed. Verse 14. And Abraham rose up early in the morning and took bread and a bottle of water and gave it unto Hagar, putting it on her shoulder and the child, and sent her away. And she departed and wandered in the wilderness of Beersheba. And the water was spent in the bottle, and she cast the child under one of the shrubs, and she went and sat her down over against him a good way off, as it were a bow shot. For she said, let me not see the death of the child. And she sat over against him and lifted up her voice and wept. So, talking about a woman that was just totally defeated, ready to give up,
Yeah.
But that's oftentimes that's where the Most High finds us at. When we're in the midst of the storm and crying, and that's where He meets us. So let's read what happened.
Go ahead.
Verse 17. And the Most High heard the voice of the lad, and the Malach of the Most High called to Hagar out of Shemaim, and said unto her, what aileth you, Hagar? Fear not, for the Most High hath heard the voice of the lad where he is. Arise, lift up the lad, and hold him in thine hand, for I will make him a great nation. And the Most High opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water, and she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And the Most High was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer, and dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Mizraim.
Slacky, 1 second. That's ironic here in these two verses right here in this chapter. So in chapter 20, and then verse 20, so like in verse 20, and also in verse 16. In verse 16, it says, and she went and sat down over against him a good ways off, as it were a bow shot. So it's mentioning a bow here. That's a lot of irony. Then you drop down to verse 20, and it says, and the Most High was with the lad, and he grew and dwelt in the wilderness, and became an archer. So that's two references here to a bow and arrow. Yeah, that's ironic. I noticed this part, but I didn't notice that bow shot before. That's ironic. I wonder. That's interesting. I'm about to dig into that and figure out what I know what this being an archer is about, but what about this? That bow shot. That's probably along the same lines. I would venture to say, but let's continue.
All right. Verse 22. Covenant with Abimelech. And it came to pass at that time that Abimelech and Phicol, the chief captain of his host, spake unto Abraham, saying, the Most High is with you in all that you do. Now, therefore, swear unto me here by the Most High that you will not deal falsely with me, nor with my son, nor with my son's son, but according to the kindness that I have done unto you, that shall do unto me, and to the land wherein thou hast sojourned. And Abraham said, I will swear. And Abraham reproved Abimelech because of the well of water, which Abimelech's servants had violently taken away. And Abimelech said, I wot not who have done this thing, neither did you tell me, neither yet heard I of it but today. And Abraham took sheep and oxen and gave them unto Abimelech, and both of them made a covenant. And Abraham set 7 ewe lambs of the flock by themselves. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, what mean these 7 ewe lambs which thou hast set by themselves? And he said, for these 7 ewe lambs shall you take of my hand, that they may be a witness unto me that I have digged this well. Wherefore he called the place Beersheba, because there they swore both of them Thus they made a covenant at Beersheba. Then Abimelech rose up, and Philcor, the chief captain of his host, and they turned into the land of the Philistines. And Abraham planted a grove in Beersheba, and called there on the name of Yahweh, the everlasting power. And Abraham sojourned in the Philistines' land many days.
Many days. Man, you know, this is some irony. I don't remember reading this either. I mean, I know we read it, but I don't remember. Do you remember him making a covenant with this cat?
Con. I remember us even talking about it because we figured out that this Abimelech was just because we were trying to figure out who Abimelech was, but this Abimelech wasn't really the name of the king. It was just a title. It meant some type of king.
Okay, kind of. And then he planted groves and what? I was like, what? He was just reading that? He what? Wow, okay. Okay. All right. Well, we're gonna leave that right there. And I'm certainly not gonna challenge understand as well in us reading this that this is not us getting this. This is not I'm trying to say this is not Moshe witnessing this. This is the account that Moshe got on Sinai. So it's interesting that the representative of the Most High is giving him these details. I mean, he's giving him all the details, but it's interesting to see that these are the things that happen. So he didn't say whether this was, good or bad, angry or mad. He just said this is what it was. So obviously, he had already made a covenant with Abraham, with our father Abraham, and he had fulfilled his portion of it up until this point. So to see these things happen, I think this was probably just a way back then. It's kind of like, I don't know. I hate to compare it to this, but if we were to get a building, like say a quote unquote church came available, and we could get it, then we got it, and people started coming, then we would do it. We wouldn't be like, no, we're not gonna get a church building. No, if a building come available, we can get it. We're gonna get it, and people start coming, and all praises to the Father. So I kind of picture it like that. This is the way that it was, and this is what they did at that time. So Abraham just kind of went along with that. He planted a grove. He wasn't planting a grove to that. He planted that, and called on the name of Yahuwah in that area. So that's dynamic to think about. But definitely good reading. Good bit of information. Man, this book of Bereshit is always great to get into, and praises to the Abba for the opportunity to do it on the Sabbath Yom, and after a video review on top of that. So all praises for the Abba, and it's just 7:30. So hallelujah. But go ahead, that's all I got.
All right, Khan. Really enjoyed this reading. Very glad to be back into the scripts, bringing out the word. I enjoyed hearing about the other nations today. What I mean by that, we read about the Amorites, we read about the Moabites, the Ammonites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, like all those other nations. And it just made me realize how young of a nation Yasharal really is. These people were already in existence when, we were being carried around in the loins of Father Abraham, and then Isaac, and these people were already a people. So, I definitely enjoy this book, and glad to be back into this reading. All praises to the Most High.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. Yes, indeed. All praises to the Abba for another opportunity and another Sabbath Yom. Beautiful day outside. We're going to close out here with the book of Ecclesiastes, as we always do about this time. the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter number 12 and verse number 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear the Most High and keep his commandments, because this is the whole duty of man. It is so very important that we understand that in the conclusion of it all, we are to fear the Most High and keep his commandments, because this is the entire duty of man. At the end of the day, when it is all said and done, all the dust is settled and all the smoke is cleared, when judgment comes, we will be judged, or rather, we have feared the Most High and kept his commandments. Why? Because this is the entire reason that we were made. I am your Akazaki Yahu, joined by my most esteemed Akinanaya, giving all praises, all honor, and all esteem, and all glory unto the Most High Power, Yahuwah, Bahashem, Yahushua, Hamashiach, and to the 12 Wamalak, and to the 12 tribes of Israel who are scattered to the four quarters of the earth. I say, Shalom wa Baruki, peace and blessings. And I cannot wait till the day that the Most High gathers us together and brings us back into our own land, and we are 12 tribes again, one family, one nation, and we all getting along, and we just bringing righteousness all in the earth. I can't wait for that day, and I look so forward to it. And until that time comes, and until we are restored to righteousness, keep the faith and walk in the way of the Most High, as he has set forth for us through his books and his prophets and the Messiah, Hamashiach, the King, or Malach. Other than that, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Shabbat Shalom, Mr. Pekah.
Praises to the Father. Hallelujah. Praise you, Abba. Hallelujah.